Hey guys, hope you're okay. So this is my first video on my YouTube channel and I thought there's no better way than kicking it off with a good old rig tutorial. So today I'm going to be showing you how to tie a Ronnie rig, and I've used this rig to great success in the past. I've caught a 18.1 pound common carp on it and I've caught a 19.8 pound grass carp. And I've never lost a fish on this rig in fact, and so I know it's definitely working. Anyway, moving on to the components that you're going to need to tie this rig. It's very simple. You're going to want some fluorocarbon stiff link boom section. This is 25 pound breaking strain. You're going to need some tungsten putty. I use the trolley silk colour, but the colour is completely up to you. If you are fishing waters where there are quite a few crayfish in, I'd try to stay away from the putty if I were you, because for some reason they love it. You're going to need a pair of crimping pliers, a pair of scissors. Make sure they're sharp because sometimes the boom section is quite hard to cut. This is optional, but I use puller tools. I put one on my spinner swivel and then one on my hook, and then pull it at the end just to make sure your rig's not going to slip, like the crimps aren't slipping, or your boom is going to be a bit dodgy and it might snap. Moving down to the actual hook part of the section of the rig, you're going to need an anti-tangle sleeve. You're going to need two 6mm crimps. You're going to need a kicker. I mean, this is optional. You can either use a kicker or some bit of shrimp tube. But I find if you're getting loads of bites, you want to get the rod in the water as quick as you can. Kickers are perfect because you can slide them off, put a new hook on the ring swivel, then put the kicker back on. You're going to need a hook bead, a bait screw. You're going to need a spinner swivel and a ring swivel, and a size 6 curve shank hook. Obviously the hook size is up to you, but I found the size 6 works perfect everywhere. But anyway, moving on to how you actually tie the rig. So I've taken a few bits off the table just so you can see what you need to start your rig off. So you're going to want to take your boom section. I would always put a lot more than you need, probably that's about 11-12 inches there. And you only want your rig to be about 7 inches long, but it's just so you know you've got a lot more than you need, so you're not having to retie in case your rig's too short. Start off, you want to take one of your crimps, your 6mm crimps, and thread it through the boom. Then you're going to want to take your ring swivel, put that onto the boom section, and then put your boom back through the other eye of the crimp. Now here is where you've got to be careful. You've got to make a decent, not too small, but not too big hole. About that, that's always perfect. So if you can see that, hopefully you can. Then you want to take your crimping pliers, place on the right hole. There'll be a 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, sometimes 0.5. And you need to crimp down. I wouldn't recommend getting these whitewood crimping tools. I'd get the corded ones if you can, because I've found that these aren't the best, because if you can see just at the top there, it's too thin for the crimp, so you've got to crimp down twice, which means sometimes there's a little bump. It doesn't affect your fishing, obviously, it doesn't affect the fish, but it's just a hassle. And then you can crimp at a bit of an angle, which means you've got to retie and put a whole new crimp on. But anyway, so that's how to attach your ring swivel onto the boom section with the crimp, and now also show you how to put the hook, tail rubber, kicker, spinner swivel, and obviously all your little extras on the hook. So you join me now where I'm going to show you how to attach your hook to the ring swivel. So as you can see, I have a kicker on the hook there already. Then you slide your, you want to do it from the back to the point. There you go. Then you slide the kicker further down the hook shank. You keep going, and then this can sometimes be quite tricky. Sometimes, not all the time. And you just want to push your kicker right there, and then that now has ability to move about. So that's your hook on, that's not going anywhere now. So I've just put the bait screw and the hook bead onto the hook now. You want the hook bead ending, you want the hook bead parallel to where the barb would be. This is optional. You can do it first or you can do it last. I'm going to do it last in this case. I'll just snip this, a bit rough at the top there. What I was saying about the optional bit is to put the anti-tangle sleeve on, but like I said, I do that last. then you can choose what length you want your one to be. So yeah, you do what I showed you earlier with the crimp. Put the crimp on, and then yeah, you can choose the length. So I would say a bit longer than that probably. Not by much, probably by a couple centimeters. So yeah, I mean that's perfect for me, that. So I'm going to crimp that now. I showed you how to do that earlier, and I'll show you again. Get your crimping tools, make sure it's in line perfectly, and then you crimp down. And then I'm just going to do it to the other side, crimp down. Needs a bit more at the end. One last time. There we go. So trim your tag end like I showed you, and we'll put the putty on while it's out, and then I'll show you how to attach the anti-tangle sleeve. Get a little bit of your putty. You might want to just roll it around your fingers just to warm it up a bit so it gets a bit easier to actually put onto the crimp. It's optional where you put it really, but I put it around the crimp because it's sort of, with the Ronnie rigs, there's a lot of metal on your rig, and I like to hide as much as I can if I could. That's why I use putty instead of shots, for example. And just, you can, that's the beauty of putty, you can have it into any shape, it's just personal preference really. But always try and aim for a more streamlined shape, because then it just sits a bit nice on the bottom. And obviously it looks a bit better, just for you personally. So there we go, little chunk of putty, and yeah, so now I'm going to now show you how to attach your anti-tangle sleeve. For this you will need a baiting needle, and I'll show you exactly how to do it right now. So now this is all that you will need, apart from these. You need your anti-tangle sleeve and your baiting needle. So what you want to do, you want to open your baiting needle, the little gate, and you want to start threading your anti-tangle sleeve up. All the components apart from the boom and the putty and the crimps that you have seen on this video have been from DSD Tackle, which I actually approached them about, what was it now, 2 weeks ago, and I'm a team member with them, and honestly all their stuff to my standards is top quality. I've not had a problem with it at all. Yeah, I've fished twice with it. One of them was a blank, no one really catching much on the pond, and then the first time I used it was at my park lake. I had one, that was my first fish on their stuff. Really nice mirror. I actually filmed a YouTube video with a bait company called Fuka. I used their baits pre-bait and they came down, and I used it around the hook as well, with just one of these little yellow pop-ups, which I'll show you how to put on the bait screw in a second. This you want to take, you don't bother about, you can form a fist and put the actual boom inside your hand. You don't have to worry about crimping it over a bit, because that's what these puller tools are for, to straighten it out. There you go. So that's now, putty's just moved out of place a bit there. Just make sure, always spend a bit of time doing the more terminal stuff, because some of these fish are really smart. But yeah, that's what I was saying. Let's get your hook pullers, attach one onto the swivel like that, and then one actually, if it'll work, there we go, and then pull as hard as you need to, just to make sure the rig's up to scratch. But yeah, what I was saying about that tackle company, they're called DSD Tackle. You can find them on TikTok, YouTube. Actually, I'm not sure if they've got YouTube, but they've definitely got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, go check them out. And it's quality tackle for very affordable prices. But now I always push it on a little bit with the popper, but not much, about 3mm, just to secure it's going through the right line. And then you screw it on just right to that, near that circle. And now that is your finished rig. So that will sit up like that. It will sit up like that beautifully, waiting for a cart to pick it up. And I've actually tied a couple of other Ronnies in the making of this video. There's one there, and there's another one there. It's up to you what colour kickers you want to use. I like having a bit of a change around. I use pink. I've used green before, and that's caught me a couple fish. Yeah, just use all different colours. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please, if you want to, like and subscribe, and check out my Instagram.